right, let's talk Los Angeles Chargers. It has been one heck of an outstanding offseason for the Chargers organization. Every move they made, of course, leading off with the hiring of head coach Jim Harbaugh, has been absolutely outstanding. But the Chargers aren't done making moves. This is one kind of fell under the radar a little bit, but I think it'll have a big impact. Let's pull up this report. This is from The Athletic. Mike Elston, Michigan's defensive line coach the past 2 seasons, is joining Jim Harbaugh's staff with the Los Angeles Chargers, a team source confirmed. NFL Network first reported the news. Elston's departure was a significant one for Michigan, as the Wolverines' defensive line was among the best in college football during his tenure. I think that's putting it absolutely mildly. Michigan's defensive line was absolutely outstanding and was phenomenal at developing a lot of NFL talent. I think this is yet another great move for the Chargers. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this. But first, Chargers fans, let us know in the comment section below. Look, obviously the coaching staff, hiring Harbaugh, it's been one amazing offseason. Everything is going right for LA right now. But as you look towards free agency and the draft, what is one position you think the Chargers need to focus on upgrading more than any other? Is it offensive line, defensive line potentially? Is it secondary? Whatever it is, give us the one position you think the Chargers need to upgrade and put it in the comments section below. But Myers, what are your thoughts on this big time hire by the Los Angeles Chargers?
Yeah, Nick, I think every time Jim Harbaugh takes another coach from Michigan to the Chargers, you got to feel good about that. Because when you say we got some national championship winning coaches coming over, there's championship caliber coaches coming over to Los Angeles, that feels good to say. But with a guy like Elston, I think he has the metal to prove it. Because it's like you alluded to, the Michigan Wolverines have been one of the best defensive line teams in all of college football under his tutelage. You look at the things that he was able to do. Mozzie Smith, first round pick, goes to the Dallas Cowboys. He looks really good. Mike Morris, fifth round pick, goes to Seattle. Then he's got Chris Jenkins, supposed to be a first round pick this year, as well as Mason Graham, who's the first team All Big Ten. He should probably go pretty high in the draft next year as well. He is able to develop extremely high end NFL level talent. That's the key here. Some guys in college can develop high end talent, they can do great in college. This guy has developed proven talent at the college level to go into the NFL. What does that mean? He definitely knows what it takes to get these guys to be NFL ready. He knows what to look for people in college coming to the NFL, and he knows what his guys in the NFL should do as well. I think that's very important because the Chargers, they have a lot of very established talent, but they have some very young talent on this team as well. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, those guys don't need to be developed as much. They're pretty good on their own. But when you look at Tuli Tuliopulutu, however you pronounce his name, I apologize, Austin Johnson and Nick Williams, some young guys on this defensive line, they're really starting to come into their own. I think they could all benefit from a guy like Elston coming in and helping the development of this defensive line. Because if you look at any of those guys that have come from the Michigan D-line pool, I would say any of those guys, I'd be happy for them to be on my team. So I think this is an absolutely massive hire by the Chargers. I think Harbaugh being closely working with him for multiple years also speaks a lot. You got to love when your coaches know each other coming into this first year as coach, being able to get along and know what kind of page each other are on from the get-go is going to be a big help. So overall, I think this is a massive win on all fronts for the Chargers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Miles. And I think you hit on something there, the knowledge that these two men have, of course, Harbaugh working with him at Michigan. And I think that speaks to what Harbaugh's strategy is for the Chargers. And although the Chargers are very, very talented, and of course, Justin Herbert is undoubtedly a franchise quarterback, Harbaugh is clearly, and I think smartly, treating the Los Angeles as a turnaround team. That doesn't mean they can't win a lot of football games next season. Doesn't mean they can't make the playoffs next season. But he's treating it as if this is a team he's trying to turn around and get everybody 100% in the different direction than they were the prior few seasons, which honestly makes sense. Things really went bad south under Brandon Staley. It necessarily needs to have a major shift, 180 degrees, and that's how Harbaugh is approaching this. One of the ways you do that is you bring in your guys, your coaches, even if they don't have any NFL experience like Elston doesn't. But he needs guys that are 100% bought into the Harbaugh method, Jim Harbaugh does, to help turn this team around. And look, historically in the NFL, it works. Bill Parcells made a career of doing this. When he left the New York Giants, when he went to the Patriots, what did he do? He brought a lot of his guys with him. When he then went to the Jets, what did he do? A lot of his guys with him, right? Same thing when he went to the Dallas Cowboys later. He brought a lot of his guys with him, allowed all three of those teams to completely turn around their fortunes and go from being losing teams into playoff teams. And it's not just Bill Parcells. Jimmy Johnson, famously, when he went from Miami to the Dallas Cowboys in 1989, essentially took an entire college coaching staff that had spent almost no time in the NFL and brought them all with him from Miami to Dallas because he needed his guys to help turn around the Cowboys. And obviously, Jimmy Johnson turned that Cowboys team into the team of the 90s, 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Harbaugh is following that same blueprint here. I think this hiring is one of those smart, under the radar moves that people really don't pay a lot of attention to. And I think having a new voice to help the defensive line is important. But I think the larger theme here is that Harbaugh is turning this team 180 degrees around. He's not going in there to like clean up around the edges, right? To fix little problems. He's not going in there like, we're so close. We just need to make this one little change. He's like, nope, we're going to completely turn this around. We're going to rebuild this franchise. And with the talent the Chargers have, a rebuild could quickly turn into a reload and a revamp back to the playoffs.
Yeah, Nick, and I think the point you bring up of treating this like a rebuild, revamp, however you want to call it, is really good. Especially the defense side of the ball. You hear about all the talent the Chargers have, but you look at their PFF grade, 20th defense in the NFL last season. That's not gonna cut it when you're gonna go where Jim Harbaugh wants to go, and that's a Super Bowl win. That is what. Well, if you ask Jim Harbaugh, multiple Super Bowl wins. He settles for nothing less but bringing home a couple of Lombardis. So I think you need to have a pretty high end defense. I think Michigan has been able to do that. Bringing over a lot of these coaches has been able to do that as well. So, like you said, this is a great move for the Los Angeles Chargers.
And one final point to end on, Miles, I think it's important to focus on this is too. Again, another element of why this is a smart move. The Chargers right now, according to overthecap.com, are about $46 million over the salary cap in 2024. Their two biggest cap hits, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. They're going to have to eventually, may either be this offseason or next offseason, get rid of one, maybe even both, due to salary cap constraints. In those situations, you're going to have a young defensive line. You're going to be relying on a lot of rookies and guys right out of college. What better D-line coach than a guy who literally developed a lot of great guys at the college level to address that situation? So again, no matter how you look at it, this was a really great hire by Harbaugh and the Los Angeles Chargers.